All right, it is April 14th, 2022. This is Marty Coleman. I'm here with Parker Coleman. Parker's going to recap the games of April 13th, 2022. Without further ado, Parker Coleman.
So we had I don't know exactly how many games. No, there wasn't 15. A few teams had the day off, and the Cardinals and Royals got rained out and is going to get rescheduled for May. But we have some games to go over. There will be some quick games. Even a few high-scoring games went pretty quickly to write out the reviews. This one was low scoring. It was the Nationals and the Braves looking to both teams looking to win the series. Both teams won in a blowout. The other two games. At the top of the first, we start with Cesar Hernandez singling, along with Juan Soto singling. Bell hits an RBI groundout, which gives the Nats the lead. Michael Franco singles, scoring another run. Bell and Franco both single in the top of the sixth, putting runners on the corners. A sac fly by Lane Thomas makes it 3-0. Austin Riley hits a solo shot, but the Braves lose 3-1. Michael Franco was the first star. He was 2-4 at the RBI. Bell was also 2-4 at the RBI. Josiah Gray, who has looked very disappointing ever since he's been with the Dodgers and came to the Nationals, actually showed some of his potential. He went 5 innings, giving up 1 hit and 5 strikeouts. 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Nationals. 1 run, 3 hits, 1 error for the Braves. Pirates Cubs. This game went quickly. They scored early, and that was it. In the top of the first, Contreras homers to give the Cubs a 1-0 lead. Probably the only celebrating the Cubs did all day. As after Vogelbach singles and Tsutsugo walks in the bottom of the first, Gamble would homer, making it 3-1. In the bottom of the third, Hayes doubles, Gamble walks, and both score on a Newman triple as 5-1. At the top of the fourth, Contreras doubles and score on a Seiya Suzuki single as 5-2. And then Park and Vogelbach will both reach on a walk and a single. Hayes and single making it 6-4. The Pirates, 6-2 in the fourth inning. The Pirates win 6-2. I said 4 for a couple of reasons. First of all, it was the fourth inning. Second of all, I was getting ready to read the 3 stars. Brian Hayes went 4 for 4 with an RBI yesterday. Gamble was 1 for 3 with a home run, walk through RBIs. Contreras 2 for 4 with a home run, RBI, 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Cubs, 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Pirates. This game was quick. It was just home run, home run, home run. Besides first scoring, Nick Lodolo made his MLB debut, and I feel like it could have gone better, but it is his debut, and he's still a great pitching prospect. It is really good. I have been tough on the Reds managing, but it is good to see that they're not keeping Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo in the minors when they very clearly should probably be in the majors, or Nick Lodolo should be there soon. I know Hunter Green should be there, and he pitched pretty well for the Reds. But Guardians Reds, second and final game, not of the year, but of the series of the Ohio matchup. But the second's really what got Nick Lodolo in trouble, as Ernie Clement would be hit. Hedges, Straw, and Kwan would all walk back to back to back to get the first run in. And then Ramirez would be hit to score another run. It's 2-0. And those were really avoidable. He just couldn't find the zone. Miller would homer in the top of the third, making it 3-0. Owen Miller has really done well so far this year. In the top of the fourth, Straw singles and Ramirez homers, making it 5-0. Mercado homers in the top of the fifth, making it 6-0. Braley homers in the bottom of the fifth, making it 6-1. Miller hits another home run, making it 7-1. And then the final score would be 7-3 after a Naquin double. Stevenson would homer. It was home run central as Cleveland beat Cincinnati 7-3. Ramirez was first to home run 3 for 4 home run, 2 RBIs, a double and 3 RBIs. Miller was 3 for 5 with 2 home runs and 2 RBIs. Straw had a 4 for 5 day, didn't drive in a run, but he had 4 hits, so that's pretty good.
Now, is that the Quan that you were telling me all the crazy stats about?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
He didn't reach, or he did reach because he walked. He didn't get a hit this game. This is the first game, I believe, not getting a hit, but he still reached. 7 runs, 13 hits, no errors for the Guardians. 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Reds. This game did not go quickly to ride out. It was Mets-Phillies. For the score, the Mets almost blew a 7-run lead, I would say. Maybe there wasn't any real danger, but the Phillies ended up scoring a bunch of runs in the end when it looked like they wouldn't. Nimmo homers for a 1-0 lead again. Nimmo is a very, very good hitter, and you never hear about him because he only plays 70 or 75 games a year. If he could play he's kind of like similar to Buxton, except I don't think he's as good of a fielder. But that's not saying a whole lot because Buxton is just probably the best center fielder, and not best center fielder in baseball, best fielding center fielder in baseball. Especially since Mike Trout, as we've seen, he's not a bad hitter, and he's still probably the best player in the world. But he just hasn't been as on top of it as a fielder, if that makes sense. I think Buxton, it's hard to say that he's a better center fielder. But anyway, I'm talking about Brandon Nimmo. I don't know how I got onto that tangent. But Nimmo, he's kind of like Buxton, except he's not as good of a fielder, which, again, isn't an insult at all. But you don't hear about him because he doesn't make a bunch of tremendous catches and he gets injured a lot. He has only played 140 games or more once in his career. Or heck, I think I could say that about 120 games. But he's a really good hitter, and he should be feared at the plate. And we've seen that in the series, 2 home runs. In the top of the 4th, Alonso doubles, scoring Marte after a single. Escobar would walk, and 2 batters are hit for another run. It's 3-0. In the bottom of the 4th, Castellanos doubles, and both Segura and Stott single to score him. Stott single to score him. Bryson Stott gets the RBI, wouldn't be his last on the day. In the top of the 5th, both Lindor and Alonso double for another run. In the top of the 6th, Nito walks, Nimmo singles, Marte drives in with a single, and Alonso homers. The Mets go up 8-1. This is what I was talking about. The final score doesn't look like it would. The final score doesn't look like it was an 8-1 ball game. After Segura's hit in the bottom of the 6th, Gregorius walks and Camargo singles to load the bases. Then there are 2 RBI groundouts, one by Bryson Stott. That's what I mentioned. The other RBI, it's 8-3. And then Realmuto and Harper walk. Castellanos doubles, scoring a run. Bohm hits a sac fly, scoring another. All of a sudden, it's 8-5, and it's getting a little closer. After Escobar triples in the 9th, Don Smith hits a sac fly, making it 9-5. But Harper homers in the bottom of the 9th. That'd be his first on the year. 9-6 would be the final score. Mets, I don't want to say they almost blew it, but they definitely looked like a different team in the last few innings. Alonso was the first star. He was through 5 RBIs, home run, 2 doubles. Nimmo was the second star. He was 1 for 3 with a home run RBI, 2 walks. Bryson Stott was the third star with 2. He was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. 9 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Mets. 6 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Phillies. This game was pretty controversial, but it was also, well, not the game, one decision. It's the Dodgers and the Twins. We start on the top of the 1st as Betts doubles, 2 other reach as Muncy is hit, and Turner reaches on an infield hit. Justin Turner singles to make it 2-0 Dodgers. At the top of the 2nd, Betts singles, Freeman doubles, Trey Turner hits a sac fly, making it 3-0. After going 7 perfect innings, Kershaw is pulled. And this is a big conversation point because he was throwing a perfect game. And I understand, I guess if he thinks it's the right decision, I guess you can't fault Roberts too much for that, but I think he should be pitching if he has it's a bigger deal because it's a perfect game. He already has a no-hitter. A lot of people already have no-hitters. Not that a no-hitter is easy, but a lot of people already have no-hitters, but there's only a few perfect games. He blamed it on the lockout and said that he hadn't picked up a baseball in 3 months, which I don't get that because it's the lockout. Sure, you can't train at the facilities, but you still could train and throw at your house or train with partners. I mean, I saw a bunch of videos on Instagram from different players that were training not at the team facilities, but they were still training. So I just don't get that. I know he's coming off of an injury. No one would be complaining if he had 100 or 110 pitches, but the fact that he had 80 is what really did people in. But I think the argument that it's easy for me to say, but I don't think that 20 extra pitches will hurt here, especially since you probably want to be resting more at the end of the season before the playoffs than in the beginning. I know he's coming off of an injury, but I wouldn't have gone out, basically. That's me. I would want to if I was throwing a perfect game, that's a big if because I can't throw anything. But if I was throwing a perfect game, I would not want to come out. 3 straight home runs, back to back to back. I don't think we've seen this yet. It happens about maybe 4 or 5 times a year, maybe 6. Bellinger, Lux, and Barnes all get the home runs, back to back to back. Muncy homers, making it 7-0. That'd be the final score. Dodgers Twins 7-0. Kershaw goes 7 perfect innings with 13 strikeouts, no walks, no hits. Turner was 1 for 5, 2 RBIs. Bellinger was 2 for 4, home run, walk, RBI. Yeah, I think Clayton Kershaw, I don't know where the idea that Clayton Kershaw was washed up came from, but you guys can throw that away. 7 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. No runs, 1 hit, 2 errors for the Twins.
So what do you think about taking him out?
That's basically what I said. I don't think that anyone would care if he had 100 or 110 pitches, even if it was a perfect game. I think the fact that it was 80 is what really took people the wrong way. And Dave Roberts pulled Rich Hill from a perfect game in 2017. So I don't want to say he has a history because it's twice, but.
Well, but how often do you have a perfect game?
Yeah.
It's only happened 23 times in Major League history.
Rich Hill got very unlucky in 2017. He had a perfect game and he was pulled in the 8th inning, I believe. And he was mad about it. That was Dave Roberts too. But then he had another perfect game bid, but the Dodgers didn't score a run. Yeah, somehow in 2017 the Dodgers didn't score a run. And Rich Hill went into the 10th with the perfect game and he got walked off, and by the Pirates of all teams, and they lost 1-0. So that's some fun history. Red Sox and Tigers was the other game that took quite a bit. Scope would homer in the bottom of the first. Hernandez would homer to tie it in the top of the third. In the top of the fourth, Martinez would walk, Dahlback would single, and Verdugo would hit a sac fly. Red Sox lead. Nearby Candelario leads to 3 straight doubles by Jackie Bradley Jr., Kike Hernandez, and Rafael Devers. Story singles, and at the end of all this chaos, Tigers are down 7-1. But like I said about the Mets, the Red Sox looked like a bit of a different team in the last 4 innings. Badu would homer for the Tigers to score. Martinez singles, Dahlback doubles, and Verdugo would walk below the bases. Vasquez hits a sac fly, and Bradley doubles again to score 2. It's 9-4, or it's not 9-4. Sorry, it's 9-2. After this, it would be 9-4. After Castro singles, Torkelson hits his first career home run. He is looking like he's about to turn it on. Got his first hit the day before. Got his first home run yesterday. Let's see what he does next game. The Tigers score again in the 8th as Candelario doubles is scored by Eric Haas, single. Castro walks and Cabrera singles, scoring 1. Reyes is hit while the bases are loaded. 9-7 is the final score as the Red Sox beat the Tigers. Again, you're up 9-2. You probably don't want the game to be this close, but you're going to have games like that. It's not a big deal. Jackie Bradley Jr. was actually the first star today for an offensive reason. He was 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 doubles. Torkelson was the second star, 2 for 2 RBIs, home run. Kike Hernandez was the third star with home run, double, 2 RBIs. 9 runs, 12 hits, no errors for the Red Sox. 7 runs, 11 hits, 1 error for the Tigers. Astros, Diamondbacks. This was a tough game for the Astros. But if the Diamondbacks were Ludo, I would have said it was a tough game for the Diamondbacks because they were very embarrassing yesterday despite winning. This was a game where if we were like hockey and we used to have ties, then they deserve a tie because I don't think either team wanted to win this game. Merrill Kelly versus Framber Valdez. And after Smith singles, McCarthy and Hummel walk, Marte is hit. He didn't even know if it was hit. And they had to review it. Isn't that crazy? It's really crazy to say the Diamondbacks drove in a run because until the 10th inning, they had left 12 runners on, I would like to say. They had 7 walks, got hit 3 times, and they scored 1 run out of that. And that's why I say even though the Diamondbacks won, they probably didn't really deserve to win. In the top of the 7th, the Astros tie it, and the Astros didn't deserve to win because their offense was not very good yesterday. The Astros tie it as Pena McCormick single. Maldonado hits a sac fly as 1-1. And the top of the 10th, Castro walks along with Brantley. Bases are loaded. Bregman hits a sac fly. Alex Bregman didn't get a hit yesterday, if I recall correctly. But he is looking very, very good. He's looking locked in, and he says he's not completely there yet, which kind of makes sense because it's the 6th game of the season. But he looks very good. I think he's going to tear it up for the Astros this year. But in the bottom of the 10th, Presley struggles as Beer singles to tie it. Altuve tried to stretch out, couldn't make the play. Very good attempt by him. Then what really hurt was Presley walked Geraldo Perdomo and Cooper Hummel. Cooper Hummel, he didn't make the 3 stars because there was a walk-off, a game-tying hit, and a great pitching performance by Merrill Kelly. But Cooper Hummel had 4 walks yesterday. But Marte would hit a sac fly. McCormick dropped it, and I think people are going to make too much out of it. I mean, McCormick, he was not going to throw the runner. I don't even think that Joey Gallo could throw the runner out. That's how deep it was. But he did drop it, and it is kind of a shame because McCormick had a hit in 3 straight at bats, but that's going to be what's remembered. The Astros are walked out by the Diamondbacks. They lose 3-2.
He also said earlier in that game, TK said McCormick was the only player in MLB in 2021 to make every potential 1, 2, 3, and 4-star catch. So that apparently ended yesterday also.
And according to Astros fans everywhere, Jose Sirius never dropped a baseball before in his life. Marte was the first star. Obviously, he was 1 for 3. He had 2 RBIs, and he got them in 2 very unconventional ways: a sacrifice fly and a hit by pitch. Again, he didn't even know. That's kind of rare that you see that, because normally you would think that they would try and sell being hit, with, especially with the bases loaded. But Marte just didn't know. He was 1 for 3, sac fly, hit by pitch, 2 RBIs. Beer had the game tying hit. He was 1 for 1. He's been pretty clutch this year. Walk-off grand slam, and then he had a single in the bottom of the ninth for the Diamondbacks the game before last game. So that was a pretty clutch hit, and he got a clutch hit to tie it here. So he's been pretty clutch. And then Merrill Kelly went 5 1/3, good inning, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 error for the Astros, 3 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for the Diamondbacks. This game's gonna be quick because it was close and low scoring. So Bob Melvin can't get upset because somebody bunted. I think that was what I remember. That I remember that I forgot. That's weird to say. Talk about yesterday, but I'll say this, and this is gonna upset a lot of 80-year-old men out there. But it's the unwritten rules do nothing but hurt the game of baseball. If you're gonna try and hurt somebody because they're trying to score more runs, then you need to get your emotions adjusted. That's why I ragged on Mad Bum after Siri took him long. I was thinking to myself, he's not going to like that Siri pinned to that home run. And yes, Kapler said it best. He said something like, "We're not worried about the unwritten rules. If you're going to bunt, we're going to defend the bunt. If you're going to steal, we're going to defend the steal." Something like that. And that's a philosophy every manager should have. You should not be mad because people are celebrating home runs. You should not be mad because people are bunting or stealing bases. You need to stop being a sore loser. And you need to not be losing by so much in the first place. That's another way to not have these unwritten rules broken, is if you're not losing 10-0 or 11-2, whatever it was. But the Padres and Giants played. I had to get through that because I didn't talk about it yesterday. I think I should have. At the top of the first, Padres take an early lead with Machado doubles and Cronenworth triples. And then in the bottom second, Heliot Ramos would walk. Mauricio Dubon would single. The Giants take the lead with Luke Williams, who I keep on mentioning. He came through. He had the only 2 RBIs for the Giants. His double would score both. Manaea goes 6 solid innings. Logan Webb throws an 8-inning gem, and the Giants win 2-1. That's really all to say here. There isn't a whole lot to talk about. Logan Webb was amazing. He went 8 innings. He got 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, walked none. Luke Williams was the second star, obviously, because he had the only 2 RBIs of the game for the Giants. 1 for 3 with a double, 2 RBIs. Cronenworth was the third star, 2 for 4 with triple and an RBI. 1 run, 5 hits, no errors for the Padres. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Giants. Oakland Athletics versus Tampa Bay Rays. The A's are surprisingly, after today's game, which I'm going to talk about tomorrow, they beat the Rays in the series 3-1. We're worried about this game, not the game from tomorrow, so let's talk about it. At the top of the third, the A's take a 3-0 lead. They had a 3-0 lead the game before and lost, but this game they didn't. Lowry and Piscotty both walk. Sean Murphy homers, making it 3-0 in the top of the third. In the bottom fourth, G-Man Choi, one of my favorite players, just personality-wise. I mean, I wouldn't say he's a bad baseball player because I can't call anybody a bad baseball player, but I mean, he's one of my favorites personality-wise. I like his stretch. He hits a home run, making it 3-1. Andres doubles and is scored by Pache. In the seventh, in the bottom seventh, Diaz singles is moved over to second by an error. Mejia singles, scoring a run. The final score is 4-2 as the Rays lose. 6 1/3, great inning by Frankie Montas. 5 hits, 1 error, 6 strikeouts for him. Murphy went 2 for 3 with a walk, home run, and 3 RBIs. He was really good. Choi was 1 for 3 with a home run, RBI. 4 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the A's. 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Rays. Blue Jays Yankees. This game was very interesting. So this game was very odd, I would say. There are a few odd occurrences. Vlad Guerrero Jr. homers, and you're not going to hear that only once this game. And it was really weird. It went off of Aaron Hicks' gloves. It bounced off of something that was over the fence, and then it came back into play. And I think he was saying Guerrero was saying he thought it was a home run, but he was running like it was a triple. In the bottom of the second, Guerrero's hand is stepped on, and he stays in the game. And thank goodness he did for the Blue Jays fans, as after the inning after Guerrero's hand is stepped on, he homers after a Bichette double. The Blue Jays take a 3-0 lead over the Yankees. Rizzo and Judge hit back-to-back homers, and Donaldson and LeMahieu both double. All of a sudden, it's tied 3-3. The top of the seventh, Kirk walks, Tapia reaches on catcher's interference, and Springer singles for the Blue Jays lead. It's 4-3. Springer had a really good series. In the bottom of the fourth, or what in the heck? In the top of the eighth, I don't know where I got bottom of the fourth from. At the top of the eighth, Guerrero would hit another home run, a 3 home run night. His dad didn't have any 3 home run games, and now he has one, about 1,000 games less. Chapman would single in Gurriel after he singles and advances, as that would be 6-3. At the top of the eighth, Torres doubles with the tying run on. Giancarlo Stanton comes up to the plate. He hits a high fly ball deep to center field. It's gone, but it's caught. That was the John Sterling call. And I think this is more funny because the score I messed up, but it was really ironic that I messed up on that play because it listed him as flying out to shallow infield somehow. So I don't know how that happened, but it is funny because it was on the play where Sterling said, it's not like he misjudged it by thinking it was going to be farther than it was. He just absolutely missed that it didn't leave. And I don't know where he's watching from, but I mean, I could tell that like, I didn't know off the bat, but I could tell that wasn't going out whenever it rested in the glove. Oh my goodness, the Blue Jays won an entertaining 6-4 game. So many storylines in that game. Guerrero was 4-for-4 with 3 home runs, 2 double, and 4 RBIs. Rizzo and Judge were both 2-for-4 with home runs and RBIs. They were second and third star. 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Blue Jays. 4 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for the Yankees. Pretty sure we got 2 games left. Yes, we do. The Orioles and the Brewers. The Brewers took the series from the Orioles, but I am kind of worried about how they're struggling to get wins. In the top of the second, Hero walks and Tellez doubles, scoring him. Brastos doubles, scoring Tellez. It's 2-0. Corbin Burns looked like himself. He didn't look like himself in the first game, but he looked like himself this game. In fact, what was funny about his start the game in the opening day is that he walked the very first batter he faced, after the year before setting the record for not walking batters. But he was actually himself. He went 7 innings, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts, no walks, so he looked a lot better. In the bottom of the eighth, the Brewers' bullpen kind of gives them a bit of an issue as Mateo singles, Bemboom walks, Mountcastle singles, scoring Mateo. Mancini hits a sac fly, scoring Bemboom. It's tied 2-2, but in the ninth, the Brewers are able to get another close win, as Renfroe singles, scoring on Colton Wong's triple. Not Colton Wong, Colton Wong. He scores on a Tellez double. The O's lose 4-2 and fall to 1-5, currently the worst record in baseball. Burns went 7 innings, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts. Wong was 1-for-1 with an RBI triple that won them the game. Tellez was 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs and 2 doubles. 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Brewers. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Orioles. Last game is Mariners White Sox. The Mariners broke their losing streak today, but they had lost 4 in a row ever since starting off 2-0. But this was one of those losses. France would homer, making it 1-0 in the top of the first. Jimenez would homer, making it 1-1 in the bottom of the second. Jimenez would later leave the game due to an injury. However, he was available to pinch hit today. He didn't do that, I don't believe. But basically, he's not too badly injured because he wouldn't be available to pinch hit if he was injured or injured badly. After Jimenez homers, Engel walks, Vaughn singles. 2 are on the corners. Berger singles, scoring a run. Then Anderson singles, scoring both of them. It's 4-1 White Sox after the second. The M scored 2 and close in the game as Crawford and Murphy single. More singles for an RBI ground out for France. It's 4-3. In the top of the sixth, Andrew Vaughn makes a potentially home run saving catch, which robbed Jesse Winker of at least an extra base hit and stopped the White Sox from losing the lead. In the bottom of the seventh, Anderson and Robert hit back-to-back homers. Anderson had a really good game, making it 6-3. In the top of the ninth, the M's attempted a rally as Suarez doubles. Crawford singles, scoring him, but the Mariners are bested by the White Sox 6-4. Hey, I found a new way to say this team lost and this team won. Anderson was easily the first star. He was 3-4 double home run, 3 RBIs. Robert was the second star. He was 1 for 4 with home run RBI. Jimenez was the third star, 1 for 2 home run RBI. I think he probably could have been the second star, but he did leave the game early, so it's not like he walked a whole bunch. Which is why I put Robert ahead of him, even though Jimenez was 1 for 2, Robert was 1 for 4. 4 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Mariners. 6 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the White Sox. Those are all the games. I don't have anything interesting to say before I tell you to do the outro, so you can go do the outro.
Well, you did a lot of interesting things. You said a lot of interesting things during the course of the broadcast, and actually, I thought that was your best one yet. So, congrats to Parker Coleman.
I'll get better by the day.
175 games in 25 minutes and 32 seconds. We'll see. Well, we won't see you. What's wrong with me? We'll talk to you tomorrow
Yes, we will.
on the MLB recap with Parker Coleman.